Hey, my vlog.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Chris Pratt.
Yep, Merry Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. We recently
Just moving the mic so I can get him too.
Thank you.
we saw Fantastic Beasts
And how to find them.
and Southern Wild.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Harry Potter 70
Spin-off.
years before prequel spin-off franchise.
70?
Yeah, 70. It's got Academy Award winner Eddie Redmayne.
An Academy Award nominee. Golden Globe winner Colin Farrell.
Okay, I was like, continue. I thought you were going to say Dan Fogler.
Honorary Academy Award winner Dan Fogler. He's the Oscar in our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Razzie Award winner Ezra Miller for his role as the Flash in Batman vs. Superman. Credence.
Oh, yeah, he's like the kind of other villain.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's kind of a known person except for the, what's her name's sister?
Yeah. This is going to be a shorter review. We're going to just simply talk about the movie, go over some brief points, explain them to Andrew. Andrew can put in his thoughts if he has anything interesting.
Yeah, it's sort of hard. I feel bad because this is really going to be a hard one for me to put any input in because I don't even know anything about Harry Potter.
Don't worry. I know a lot about Harry Potter.
We know everything about Harry Potter.
Actually, I used to be a huge
I'm
fan.
actually a really big Harry Potter fan, guys.
You are?
I own a Harry Potter t-shirt. I haven't seen any of the movies, though. But I'm a really big
That was a
Harry
good
Potter
one.
fan.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. You got it, the Universal? You got their way too expensive t-shirt.
I feel like this is in the vein and similar to what, like how Rogue One is, where it's an unnecessary prequel kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, the problem I have with Rogue One that we'll get to later is that it's set really close, continuity-wise, to New Hope.
Yeah.
It kind of wrecks New Hope. Where this one is set so far in the future, I'm like, sequels, we'll talk about
Do you
that
mean
later.
the past?
Oh, did I say future?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
But
You
no,
talking
it's
about the
like-
rapper?
Logic.
Knowledge.
What was I saying? Yeah. It's like, at least with this one, I know that in the sequels we'll see one returning character for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, it's like, nobody. It's just, you hear a mention, but you don't need to see anybody.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. I don't need to see shoving in. Props to you, JK, because you could have easily been like,
So it doesn't.
here's Professor Snape's fetus.
Yeah.
And all this stuff.
So it's not as cash grabby as it feels.
Oh, no,
Oh, no, it's a gas grab.
Okay.
There's also 4 movies to come still.
Well,
There's
that's
4
what I was going to
yeah.
save to the end. Is
For
I was going to have
the
us
Harry
go
Potter?
beat by beat.
For the Harry Potter world, there's 4 more movies coming?
For Fantastic Beasts.
Okay.
Pretty much here. We'll go beat by beat. Let me
Mhm.
explain. First off, the origin of this film. Let's mention this. This film was a 20-page kids book that J.K. Rowling wrote for charity, and in the canon of the Harry Potter books, it was a textbook.
It's a textbook that Harry Potter has.
So it's pretty much like if Our Lives Were a Story, they'd be given out a little seagull book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's pretty much what it was. It was just textbook,
Yeah.
20 pages, just, world building. J.K., she did a little bit of world building.
Yeah, she's
back
building a
in the day.
world around this Harry Potter guy.
And it sold pretty well, but I mean, it's a 20-page book.
Yeah, it wasn't
and
really nothing crazy.
It was
but,
just about monsters and all of that. And so
but then JK
was
realized.
like, she was like, I need money. People don't care about Harry Potter anymore. How do I get people to care about Harry Potter? And she was like, how about
Another book.
I create 4 movies.
5.
Five movies.
It's not 5, is it?
There's 4 more coming out.
Oh my god.
And that's what she did. And she said, let's base it off of this 20-page kids book I wrote. And what's very weird is this one follows Newt Scamander.
Newt Scamander.
Newt Scamander.
That's how Colin says it. That's how you're gonna say it.
That's
okay.
a weird name.
Yeah, you know who else has a weird name?
Harry Potter.
Justin Mendoza.
Andrew
Andrew Burns. Jason
Renick
Momoa.
Slowski.
Renick Slothin.
Shinji Okano.
When he's slothin.
Gurren Lagann. I'm just looking at names.
Curran Logan.
But yeah, no.
Freckles.
But no, so pretty much...
Yeah, it's about this. It's about Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie
and
Redmayne.
He captures like magical beasts.
While he's writing his book.
He's
working
writing.
on his book.
He's doing
The
research
book
for the book
that
he's writing.
she sold and that's named after, he's working on it.
He's
coming out. But the problem is, though, he is not going to be the main character for the next couple of movies.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, pretty much next couple of movies are going to follow a different character with these characters returning in a side role, I guess.
I guess
Eddie
so.
Redmayne doesn't care. He's like, I'll take whatever paycheck I can get. You saw Jupiter Ascending? Let's burn a hole through my pocket.
Oh, he was in. So
It
weird,
wasn't
man.
Jupiter Ascending.
That's a weird movie.
But I thought of a couple of points that we should bring up instead of like focusing on the film, and that is kind of like I think we both have similar pros and cons, and I think the points that we should bring up are the characters, how there are too many of these said characters. There are too many characters. That's a big one. The villain, the hero, and the action.
The action, baby.
action.
Because that's what it's all about. It's a summer
And then
blockbuster
if we have any,
in the middle of November.
if we have anything we want to share,
Is there a bunch of action in the movie?
there's
Nah.
technically exciting scenes.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
But it's not like fight scenes.
there is a very
It's
long...
PG-13 for crude humor and Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, they have to parental guidance. They don't want kids seeing Eddie
Yeah.
anywhere. But no. So yeah. I wanted to mention with characters is you haven't seen any Harry Potter stuff.
I haven't.
They don't prep you. They
They
like,
assume you know it
they're
right
like
away.
thrusters to full power, and they just shove you in, and you're like, "Whoa!" Well,
Whoa!
it opens.
Maximum hyperdrive.
Actually, very important is I'm even a big Harry Potter fan.
It opens on the Death Star.
I'm actually a very big Harry Potter fan. I've read all the books. I know all the side stuff. I know all the side characters. It opens in one of the most confusing ways they could have ever opened a movie.
With yeah.
It's you just see like four guys, they got their wands out, and it's like kind of like flat. It's like flashlights.
Yeah.
And they're looking around in a foggy area, and then they all explode. And you're like, what?
What?
And then it turns, and there's a guy with a weird haircut. You know the
We
Brad Pitt.
we gotta go- we
you know
gotta
the
go
Brad
find the
Pitt.
ring.
You know the Brad Pitt Fury haircut, where it's like he had the hair on the. It's the new cool guy.
Oh, yeah.
Macklemore.
Yeah.
It's that, but like white, like white
like
as snow.
bleach white.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you just see him from behind. You're like, who's that? And then a bunch of headlines flash up. It's like Grindelwald attacks, Grindelwald this, Grindelwald that, Grindelwald. But then
They don't mention him the entire movie.
But-
They mention him.
you're
but-
forgetting. There's also in between headlines that have nothing to do with Grindelwald. It's like soccer is the new Quidditch? Question mark. And then it's like drink that makes you laugh.
Giggle water.
Yeah, and I was like, why are those there? That makes no sense. And then it gets back to Grindelwald. So, yeah, I mean, Grindelwald is a very weird choice. I get why they're doing him because he's very important in the backstory. But
Who is?
who is Grindelwald?
Yeah, give me like a.
Do you
quick,
know who Dumbledore is?
I do know who Dumbledore
Good.
is.
That's a good
He's
start.
the one who
he's-
said, "Do not pass."
No, that's Gandalf. He's the main teacher, professor man.
He's not a teacher. He's the principal. He's the principal of the Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
He's the
yeah,
headmaster.
headmaster.
Okay.
They call
But
it-
since they don't call it principal because they're from England.
Mate.
Hello, mate. It's me, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
What you doing in the woods? It's me, Dumbledore. Get the book out, you little
So,
bugger.
anyways, who's
Severus Snape.
who's Grindelwald?
Grindelwald. So there's Voldemort, who's the main villain of Harry Potter.
Yeah, I know Voldemort.
But before Voldemort, there was Grindelwald.
And in the backstory of Harry Potter, Grindelwald wanted the three most powerful items, which was the cloak of invisibility. Cape, my bad. Cloak of invisibility.
There's the one that goes back in time, right?
No, there's
No, that's the time turner, but that's not for some reason the most powerful item. Anthony's bringing up a great point on how that is not the most powerful item.
Even he knows. He's like, yeah, they can do time travel, can't they?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that just negate everything else?
Yeah.
Like, you
actually,
mess up, you're like, back in time.
You're completely right, but J.K. Rowling isn't a good writer, so you can now see the
it's
Resurrection Stone,
Resurrection Stone,
which
and
can bring people back to life.
and there's the
That seems
Elder
useless
Wand,
if you just
which is
travel back in time.
the most powerful wand
An
in all of
Elder Wand.
existence.
It's an unbeatable wand.
Unbeatable
Unless
wand.
someone
Is that like the death spell that they have?
The Killing Curse.
Well, yeah, you can do the death spell with the wand, but pretty much like let's say you were fighting somebody with the Elder Wand, if you guys both attack at the same time, you win. No matter, it's like an instant win. It's a cheat code.
It's a
But
cheat code.
let's say you had the Elder Wand, and I snuck up behind you, and I was like Expelliarmus, and I disarmed you. My wand becomes the Elder Wand.
Okay,
If you disarm someone with the spell,
Yeah.
their wand only answers to you.
Yes.
okay, so it's like kill the king to become the king, sort of thing.
King of the Hill.
King of Hill.
King of the Hill.
Okay, so Grindelwald wanted all of those, and he kind of was like, he's kind of like Wizard Hitler. He just kind of like, killed people.
Yeah.
Just, he's a bad guy.
Jews are
He's
evil.
only referenced in the last book,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, oh yeah, he was evil. He did all these evil things. He grabbed all these powerful items that Harry also needed to get, and Dumbledore beat him.
Yeah.
Dumbledore beat him. It was the greatest battle of all time. You guys want to see it? Nope. You gotta
So
wait.
that entire battle isn't in the actual movies or anything.
No,
He's in this
because at the time those were like
pretty much.
that's forever
This
ago.
film takes place right when he's coming to power, and he's
Yeah.
starting to
Okay.
kill people.
So is Dumbledore in the movie?
No.
In this one, no.
They reference him, but
Referenced.
he's going to be in the sequels. He's the new main character of the sequels. That's why when we were saying these characters aren't going to be the main characters for the next couple of sequels,
It's because Dumbledore is taking over.
yeah, young Dumbledore.
Young Dumbledore.
Yeah, young Dumbledore.
Young Dumbledore.
But this film opens and he kind of gets to England.
He
England,
comes from
he comes from
England
England to
to
America, and he's kind of just rolling up, hunting his like magic. He's looking.
He's coming here for a certain breed that's only in America.
And he wants to also release another one of his animals.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
of course, America.
Wait, no, that's his fake reason for coming.
Yeah, yes.
He's actually
Yeah.
coming there to
We don't need
release.
to go, he's coming there for a fake reason, but America's super lame, and they don't like magical creatures.
Yeah.
And they just, for some reason, America's like, we have to hide the magic world, and people who do it's like, of course, Americans are all rules, and
Yeah.
they've got like police, and they're just lame. They're just lame.
The Americans are lame.
Americans are lame.
Got
They're just sticks in the
They
mud.
call Muggles no mages.
Yeah, for some reason, Muggles are people without magic.
Yeah, non-magical people.
That's
For you.
weird.
And so pretty much, the film opens with Eddie Redmayne showing up, that he's kind of doing his business, and of course, while walking around, he has a suitcase full of creatures. It's like a huge like zoo, pretty much.
So it's like
He can step inside his briefcase.
okay.
Yeah, it's magic preface, so you
yeah.
It's like Majin Buu.
Like, what do you mean?
We're just inside of his stomach is just an entire separate universe.
No, but I guess so.
Whatever analogy you can put it in.
Yeah.
But
Or like Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, like her bag.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
works. That
yes,
works.
yes.
Good. That's perfect.
So,
One of his creatures gets out, and he's like, "No!" And he does this wacky. There's a wacky little exciting scene in a bank where he's trying to catch his creature.
before this, the reason his creature gets out is because he bumps into.
Well, we're about to mention Dan Fogel.
Yes.
So his creature gets out, and the creature likes shiny things, and he's in a bank. So of course the creature can.
So that's bad.
So he's gonna steal all the money.
Steal all
Okay.
the money. So he's like sneaking around, and of course
He's a little platypus-looking guy.
while he's doing that, he let go of one of his eggs that he has, and this Muggle, he's Fat Comic Relief, and also the best character in the film named Dan Fogler.
Played by Jack Black.
Played by
Oh,
Discount Jack Black.
Discount Jack Black.
Dan Fogler. He's like, "Hey, Mr. English guy, I thought you left this," and he of course grabs him, and he's like, and he's gonna wipe his mind right after, but.
Oh no! You skipped. Okay, so he shows him that kind of shows him magic for a second,
He shows him magic,
and then
teleports
he
him
gets
to
his
him.
little creature back. He puts it in his little box, and then Dan Fogler smacks him upside the head and runs away before he can wipe his mind.
Okay.
But then, the girl from Steve Jobs, whose name escapes me, she.
I know her name in the movie. I can't remember her name.
What was it?
Tina Portenstein.
Tina. Yeah.
We'll just call her T.
T-Dog.
T-Dog, yeah.
So T-Dog is like, you wiped his memory, right? He's like, oops, no, I didn't. She's like, all right, I'm gonna take you to our wizard headquarters.
Pretty much
in
what happens
America.
is he drops his briefcase with his new monster in it.
Yeah.
Dan Fogler drops his briefcase with pastries in it because there's a joke.
And they get mixed up.
They get mixed up, and
That's
he's brought to
Okay.
Classic mix-up story.
he's brought to the magic headquarters for America.
Yeah.
It's like a magical congress. It's got a stupid.
Is
name.
it like is it like the National Spy Association?
No,
Gets
No,
hurt?
It's like the president of America is in
Is a
New York.
magician.
No, it's in New York, and she rules the magic community. She's the magical president.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this is like the headquarters of all magic. So there's like a bunch of different branches, a bunch of different things. And the main girl used to be like a head cop.
Yeah.
She was fired because something happens. We'll mention later because I'll mention that there's too many characters. We're about to get to that point where they begin to show you every single side character in this movie. And you see Colin Farrell and a couple others.
Oh, Colin Farrell shows up to a house that's been destroyed by a magic thing.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'll mention how there's too many plot lines. But
There's
pretty
a lot.
much they're
I'm
like
thinking about it.
they're like, hey,
It's a
T
bit-
T
For a simple
Dog.
kids book, this is not a good translation
Yeah.
from what you're telling.
Pretty much they're like, hey T Dog, you ain't a cop anymore after something you did.
Because she brings Eddie Redmayne. She's like, hey, this guy let a dude get away. They're like, you're not even a cop. What are you doing
Yeah,
here?
and they kick her out, and she's like, okay, whatever, and she's upset. Eddie Redmayne gets out, and he opens up his briefcase, and it's full of pastries, and he's like, oh shit. Fat Americans got this. Who knows what's gonna happen? And it cuts back to him. He opens his briefcase. Everything gets out. He's like, just hell breaks
He
loose.
gets attacked by one of them, yeah.
There's like 5 monsters that get out. There's a huge one that gets out that you don't see, but he destroys the place.
There's a hippo. There's an invisible guy.
Invisible creature.
The dragon that can expand and contract.
There's a dragon that can fill up
any available space.
Any available space, and he likes bugs. And then there's...
He likes bugs?
Yes, that's how they catch him.
There's those 4.
And then there's
wait, the hippo, the invisible, the Niffler.
That's the one that like you can remember because he says his name like crazy.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
So
we're missing one or so.
How does this relate to the guy that wants to find the 3 MacGuffins?
Oh, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
They think he's in America or they think he's in England. They don't know exactly where he's at.
They just know he's causing havoc in the wizard world.
And the problem is, there's a destroyed now to the plot lines that we're going to mention. So they cut and there's 4 different characters with 4 different plot lines. There's the Flash, Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
His mom hates...
Playing the Flash.
Yes.
Yes.
His mom...
He can go really fast with
He has an ugly haircut. That's very important.
Yeah.
His mom is a part of a... He's not even his mom. He's an orphan.
He's
an orphan.
He lives in an orphanage.
He has a blood sister, and then he has his family.
I don't think that's his blood sister.
Okay, whatever. I thought
he
it
lives.
was.
He lives in an orphanage.
He lives in an orphanage
with a mother who's like some crazy wizard lady
who beats him.
Yeah, who beats all the kids.
And the way she teaches them is that wizards exist and they need to be burned. They're called New Salemers. So picture witches. So they think everybody's a witch and they want to burn them. And so their plot line is they're trying to go to government figures to get actual American government, not magic government, to join them and help us burn witches.
Yes. And John Voight is like, no,
John Voight is the big government guy who they meet. He's in the film a couple of times, and he's got a son who's running for office.
Okay.
Then, you see how I mentioned plot lines? Then there's Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell is working with the Flash.
The Flash, and he's trying to find. He thinks that the New Salemers have a wizard or a witch.
He thinks one of the New Salemers is a wizard or witch who's causing havoc.
Destruction.
Yes.
Because if you can't use your magic for until you're like 12, it becomes this horrible monster and you destroy everything. And it's hard, and you have to kill the per kid pretty much. And
actually, they die on their own because they can't make it past. Like they don't live very long. These special type of wizard kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he's trying to find this person because he thinks the person's super powerful and he wants to harness power.
Yes.
And so he's like really weirdly touching the Ezra Miller.
Oh yeah, they get very touchy-feely.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Ezra Miller must have loved that.
And he's trying to find him, and that's Colin Farrell's plotline. Then you
got... It wasn't the Flash. I could just run out of it.
Then you got the main guy, Newt, who's trying to find
Newt Gunray?
Yeah, Newt Gunray.
He replies his role too?
My creature, where are they going? And then the senator, that's Newt Gunray, yes.
Lord Sidious promised us protection.
So Newt Scamander is trying to find his creatures. He's the main.
Oh, then they.
Well, I'm just trying to get over the plot lines.
Yeah. Okay.
And
there's a lot.
And he's
got more.
And he's got a partner. Oh yeah, he's got a partner which is the Fat Muggle.
Okay.
And then the final plot line.
The same Fat Muggle that is
the pastries.
Yeah. And the final plot line is the girl and her sister who end up joining with Newt. So for most of the time they're together.
Okay.
The girl wants to become a cop again, and that's like her main drive.
And his sister is just like,
Her sister can read minds, and she has a thing for the Fat Muggle.
Yes.
But you're not allowed to marry non-Muggle.
Non-magicians.
But in England you can. It's very, very weird on how America just doesn't like the touching.
Yeah. In America.
Yeah, Ezra Miller and what's his face?
Ezra Miller. Maybe Colin Farrell's, but he's releasing that desire.
Yeah. He likes to rebel.
So pretty much, what ends up happening is, of course, they're all caught, and we're just skipping a couple of things.
Yeah.
But,
there's a lot that goes on.
A lot of stuff that goes on. They catch all the creatures.
Obviously, yeah.
But the Obscurial attacks again. And
that's the little thing. That's the weird little wizard kid. They're called an Obscurus.
Obscurus, and it kills John Voight's son.
Yeah, who's running for it at like a rally or something? Not a rally.
Office.
And then they're like, this. Not only is this guy dead, Obscurial killed him. What's going on?
Yeah, they're non-magic people, so they're like, what?
The entire United Nations goes to America to talk about it.
Yeah.
And of course, all the non-magic people are like, we got to burn the witches.
And they think that it is one of Newt's. They think it's one of Eddie Redmayne's creatures that did this.
Eddie Redmayne not only has a bunch of creatures, but he has an Obscurial that he's able to capture.
Yeah, it's
harmless.
Yeah.
And of course, they're like, Colin Farrell grabs him and he's like, I'm going to interrogate all of you. And he's interrogating him, and this is the one time they mention Dumbledore.
Yeah, Colin Farrell's like, why does Dumbledore like you so much?
And
Ed
And was
Redmayne.
that the
There's a
part
great
where
part-
everyone in the crowd was like,
we were in a very small theater, so no
Yeah,
one really
yeah.
cheered. But great part of the film is Colin Farrell pulls the Obscurious out, the one that's harmless that Eddie Redmayne has, and he's like, "What are you doing with an Obscurious in your place?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it's completely harmless." And he's like, "Oh, harmless and it's worthless." And then the girl next to Eddie Redmayne, the main girl, is like, "What do you mean worthless? This is a horrible weapon." And he goes, "I'm tired of your tricks. Get them out of here." It's like
He sends them to me. He's like, all right, you know what? You guys are gonna be executed
It's pretty
right
much
now.
like him going. It's like Luke Skywalker, or no, let's do Darth Vader. He's like, "Don't worry, Luke, I'm a good guy." And Luke's like, "Oh, cool, cool, cool." And they're both talking, and he's like, and Luke's like, "Oh yeah, that ship behind me, it's a Death Star. It blows up planets." And he's like, "Blows up planets? Oh, I could use a weapon like that. Imagine the power." And Luke goes, "Well, it doesn't have any kyber crystals, so it's useless." He goes, "Useless? Why would I ever need something like that? If I needed it, I wanted to destroy planets." And then Obi-Wan's like, "Why are you saying you want to destroy planets, Darth Vader? That's an evil thing." He's like, "I'm tired of your games. Go to jail." It's like he says the shadiest stuff, and then he's like, and then they call him out on it, and he just stands there and he's like, "Oh, they did call me out on it." He just doesn't know what to do.
So he sends them to like the magical electric chair, essentially.
Yes, yeah, and they're pretty much gonna get killed.
okay.
And Eddie Redmayne, they break out with a fat guy and sister, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we gotta get out of Dodge." They go in the, in, and not only is there too many characters, but there's.
I'm raising my hand for the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah.
What point in the movie are we?
Oh,
near
we're towards the end.
Near the end.
This is final act?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna mention that not only are there a lot of characters, but there are a lot of things
We're in the first 30 minutes.
left in the sequel. Left for the sequels
Oh,
to
that's
explain.
not good.
There's a picture of Zoe Kravitz, Lenny Kravitz's daughter, and supposedly
She's related to a villainous family.
Not
from the
only is she
original
related to a
movies.
villainous family, but she has like a past with Eddie Redmayne, and people ask him, they're like, "Yo, what's the deal with this girl?" And he's like, "Nothing." And you're like, "You can explain."
Well, obviously there's something.
You can
Yeah,
explain,
he
my
just
dude.
always says
We're,
nothing.
we're in the briefcase. You can let us know, man. Like, no problem here. And he's like, "No, it's nothing." And you're just like, "Why are you waiting to to explain this?" And I guess they're gonna do it in a sequel or something. But pretty much,
They all escape.
Colin
And-
Farrell is like,
yeah.
beats Ezra. He's like, "Where's the monster?" And he's like, "I don't know." And he beats Ezra.
But
and
Ezra's
then-
like, my monster is the monster is my sister, I think. And then he goes, and then while Colin Farrell's like, "Oh, monster, little girl, come here. You're the monster. I can help you." There's like a huge a destruction, and he turns around.
And
Turns out Ezra Miller was the monster
Ezra
the whole
Miller
time.
Ezra Miller is the monster the whole time, and he's the one killing people.
Yeah.
And then the monster goes crazy and destroys the city, and Colin Farrell's like, "No, no," and he's trying to stop him.
So he can be a part, so they can destroy the world.
And Eddie Redmayne is trying to calm him down and to stop him. And Eddie Redmayne coaxes him into the subway, and he's like about to get Ezra Miller to become a good guy again. You're like, "Oh, Ezra Miller, it's okay. You can control. I can help you." And right when that happens, Colin Farrell just starts beating up Eddie Redmayne, and he's like,
he's
like
like trying to
shocking him
kill
with
him.
electric. He's like almost pretty much killing him. And then Ezra Miller goes crazy again, and all the magic people come out, and Eddie's like,
Tina
"Well,"
shows up, tries to calm him down, but then all the magic people come,
all
and
the
they just
magic
kill
people.
Ezra Miller.
And Newt is like, "Please don't kill Ezra Miller. He's a good guy. Please, I can help him." And they're like,
We're gonna
"Tell
kill
it to
him.
the judge," which is us. And then they just kill him. They kill Ezra Miller.
He
They're like,
explodes.
"No," but
There is a deleted scene.
there's a little flake of him that leaves.
Yeah.
This sounds dark.
Yeah, it's honestly a very dark film.
There's a
when you watch
deleted
it.
scene that they took out because you see a little piece of Ezra Miller
A
like
little
go
piece of
away.
Ezra Miller fly away, and you're like, "Oh, is he coming back?" You don't really explain. In a deleted scene,
You see him leaving New York.
you see him going to England, which is where the next film is going to be set.
So he's coming back.
Yeah,
So after that happens, Colin Farrell's like, I can't do a deal with these
he's
rules
just
any
Colin Farrell's
longer."
sick and tired of dealing.
He
with
has
the
a little
rules,
monologue.
and he's sick and tired of being like trying to watch out for other like weaker. He thinks that magic people are stronger. He becomes Magneto.
Yeah, yeah.
He's Magneto.
Okay.
And Eddie Redmayne and him fight.
They have a little
And
fight.
Eddie Redmayne beats him, and he reveals him to be Grindelwald.
Grindelwald is Colin Farrell the whole time.
And you want to know who plays Grindelwald?
Oh no.
Johnny Depp.
I wish I was joking. Now, now we're at the final section of why this
Turns
film,
out the entire movie was a trailer.
Turned out
Pirates of
the-
the Caribbean 5.
Dead Man Tell. Can you tell this to Newt Scamander, please? Will you? No, it's like, yeah.
Please tell him.
I like how you did that.
Yeah, that's what he does.
He's like,
That's exactly what he does.
Captain Salazar. But no, so here's the problem with the sequels. Is Grindelwald was beaten already. Grindelwald is beaten in this film by Eddie Redmayne and a bird.
Yeah, they were captured.
Yeah.
And a bird, is that what you said?
Oh, because he throws a bird. And
he
the
has a bird
like,
that it's almost kind of like in a stress ball.
yeah.
That's how it works. And he throws it, and the bird will fly, and then he catches it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a boom. It's very weird.
But he throws it, and the bird like squeezes like juice all over like what's his name that like captures him.
Doesn't make sense. Don't
Okay.
ask.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions. It's a magic movie.
Okay.
It's a magic movie. So they capture him, they take him away.
And he's like, your chains can't hold me. And they're like, okay. And then they take him away. And you're like, that's all you see of Grindelwald.
At all.
Problem number 1 is he's caught. Why is he in the sequels? Problem number 2, he's beaten by Eddie Redmayne and a bird. So why do we have to care if... We know Eddie Redmayne's not as good as Dumbledore, so like, why do we have to care?
Why is he a threat?
Yeah. I mean, they have 4 movies to prove that he's a threat. But that's the other problem is, I could get like a sequel and maybe a trilogy. But I cannot see a 4th movie.
Four movies.
5.
Yeah, but we got this one already.
No,
So
I'm
we
saying
got
4 more.
movies following.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's kind of questioning it too. And she's like, oh, well, if you knew the story we're trying to tell, I'm like, you mean the story of how to get more money? But
I was
yeah.
about to say, for the apparent kids book adaptation this is based off of, this is...
Well, the next one has no adaptation. There is nothing to get off.
Oh yeah, there's no more.
I mean, technically, it's not even an adaptation. It's just explaining him writing the book.
and with this one, you can tell that there's not material that they really could work with. So there's like kind of like filler stuff that's kind of
A
happening.
lot of filler.
Yeah.
We covered the basics. We gave you a light version, and it took
That's
27 minutes.
But
Oof.
after that happens, this
Ron
whole...
Perlman's in the movie. We didn't even mention the Ron Perlman.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's a goblin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot. We
Yeah.
could probably watch it
We
one day and laugh at it. But
Yeah.
but it ends. So after the whole climax,
M0V.log
like
Live reacts. Whoa! We're watching.
the whole climax took place in New York. So like non-magical people saw it. So it turns out Eddie Redmayne's creature, who we brought in the beginning of
That
the
he
movie,
was trying to release to America.
could drop like a potion that
It can create... it's like a Thunderbird.
yeah, it's a thunderbird. So
And
what,
it creates rain.
rain,
and
which will wipe people's memories.
He fed it a potion that'll make everybody forget.
Yeah.
And he's like, fly away and make... They do an
exactly.
Amazing Spider-Man, pretty much, where it's like...
Oh, the thing over the whole city, because they're
Yeah.
like, how can you wipe a whole city's thing? And Eddie Redmayne's like, I think I know a way. That was not a good
Yes. It was
English
okay.
accent.
It was okay. And now we're going to get to the final part, but I want to mention one more thing. Eddie Redmayne does not make eye contact with anybody in the movie.
Oh yeah,
I said this is a problem.
You know your younger brother John?
Yeah.
Imagine him older. And
So my uncle.
yeah, that's who the
He doesn't
character
make
is.
eye
On time. He doesn't make eye contact, and he has the same exact haircut. He looks exactly like John in like 15 years.
Man, I can't watch this movie then.
Yeah, it's confusing, but I mean...
And Eddie Redmayne in real life is a normal person, so it's like, why are you putting on such a weird, awkward act?
Yeah. And I think the problem is, the film's not awful, you know?
No,
Like,
it's
I
not.
was entertained. It wasn't awful.
No, not at all. I don't
Could have
think
been
it's
worse.
awful. Yeah.
It really could have been.
Yeah.
It had
It
good
had
moments.
it had the director from all the other
Harry Potter films.
the final
Besides
four.
the good one. Yeah. It was entertaining. Do I think I'll like the sequels? I'll have to wait till they come out. But it's like, for a start, it could have been worse. It
Yeah.
could have been Batman vs Superman.
But could it have been
Could've-
better?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Of course,
yeah. I think any film can be better, but I think this one could have been a lot better. But it also could have been a lot worse. It's like, it was perfectly average, and that's what I cared about.
Yeah, it sets off on the note where like they're like, all right, you gotta take away Dan Fogler's memory,
Yeah.
and they have like a long scene where it's really sad because he's
Very
like,
well done scene, actually.
yeah, I like it. I like that scene a lot. It's very good. Where like it's all sad because Dan Fogler's been with us. We had a little adventure together.
Yeah. And Dan Fogler is a sad time.
Yeah, it's sad because like they're getting rid of Dan Fogler, and so Dan Fogler steps out into the rain and he loses all his memories.
He gets kissed by a pretty girl, but he doesn't remember it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would he? Why should we let Dan Fogler have any happiness?
So Dan Fogler just walks off, and then we have a scene, I guess sometime has passed, where Newt bumps into Dan Fogler again, and he's like, "Hey!" And he keeps walking, and Dan Fogler goes to lift up his briefcase because he dropped it when they bumped in, and he opens it, and he's like, "Here, I have some eggshells that are worth money."
It's a lot of money, like gold.
Yeah, it's like
He pretty much gets like
a ton of money to open up his bakery.
couple $1 million. It
Yeah.
was in like the
Jesus.
Depression.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So he's pretty much set for life, and he opens up the bakery he always wanted.
And in the bakery, all of the little baked goods are in the shapes of the animals that he saw
So
with
it's kind of like Did he forget?
Did he forget or did he
did
remember?
he not forget?
And someone asked you, they're like, "Hey, Dan Fogler, how did you come up with this?" He's like, "It just came to me. I don't know."
He pulled a yeah.
And then the girl. Oh wait, no, and Eddie Redmayne.
That's the end of the film. It's
Yeah.
pretty much Eddie Redmayne kisses his future wife, who's the main girl from this, goodbye, and
Yeah.
sails off.
And sails off, and she's like, he's like, "I'll come back and bring you a copy of my book."
And she's like,
Wow, that's
it should be
okay.
called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Him. He's like, yeah, I like that. And that's how it ends.
So
And-
why are they
Oh.
making more movies? It seems like a
Money.
pretty cohesive.
Money.
I hope that's an answer.
And they're going to explain Grindelwald, because I guess that's what people want to see.
There's an end credit scene that Renick still hasn't seen to this day.
Shut up.
I
It
told
doesn't-
him.
It doesn't exist. Chris thinks he's a funny kid.
That would imagine how amazing that would have been though.
Yeah.
Maybe for the fifth one, they'd be too old.
No,
It
you know
wouldn't make
what's gonna happen
sense.
in the fifth one?
Hmm.
It's gonna end the book. The book's gonna close, and you can put, and then you can see an old hand put it down. It's gonna be Ian Holm, and it's gonna be Bilbo Baggins. He's gonna be like, "I finished my,"
Yeah.
and then Frodo's gonna be like, "Uncle," and then Gandalf's here, and he's like, "Gandalf," and he's gonna put the book down, and Gandalf's gonna come in.
that was
and
good.
I really like
The
that.
entire-
You said Ian Holm, and you were going with
The
it.
entire after credit scene.
I was really hoping that's what you were going.
the entire
for.
after credit scene is the
Very
entirety of Fellowship of the Ring.
It's a 4.5 hour.
As cool as
after
that,
credits.
the thing I came up with would be they're all too old. It wouldn't make sense
Could
unless
be the kids
I
are
guess.
forced to read it because it's year one.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, that's Fantastic Beasts and Where to
That's
Find
really-
Them. It's a pretty average movie. I'd give it a good 6 out of 10.
I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
It's not that much. I think right after I've seen it, I would probably give it a 7. But now that I've had time to let it boil, I
Yeah.
could probably give it a 6.5. It was
Yeah.
good. Would I watch it again? Probably. Why not?
Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine film.
Well, what do you think, Andrew?
What would you
ju-
give us your final regards?
I don't know, like just from listening and
Because you're also not like I guess if you had seen Harry Potter, it'd be different.
like
Yeah.
because I don't understand like the entire universe that well. This all seems kind of like a mess to me.
Yeah.
I like if I were a fan, I'd enjoy it just because it'd be more of that universe that I like.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah.
one's not too crazy. Like you wouldn't be like, "Buh," except
Like
for
how
the opening scene.
I wanted to go see Rogue One because it's Star Wars. I bet there's hardcore Harry Potter fans. I used to be hardcore. Like if someone told me this is coming out like back in 8th grade, I would have been like,
Jumping off the dick.
but I mean, I grew up and I realized Harry Potter is very poorly written. And
Yes.
I hated it, and I've grown to hate it. Plus, I live in Orlando, Florida, and I have Harry Potter constantly in my mind when I go to Universal.
Yeah.
And it's shoved down my throat, you know? So it kind of loses its
Luster.
Magic, if you will.
Loses the magic.
Oh my god.
And the magic and mystery.
And that's it for Harry Potter and the Fantastic
Harry Potter,
Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Renick, what are you doing?